what you know about rolling down in the deep. When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known, Black Press Media USA.com, and the original Let It Be Known, founded by yours truly and sponsored by the Association of Black Cardiologists, One World Products, Triumph International, and our partner, our newest partner, the Bell Project, which keeps families together and encourages all to join the Bell Project in building a justice system rooted in dignity and equality. Donate and support over 40,000 clients through free bail assistance at www.bailproject.org. And I see we already talking about the election today is what is on some of you guys' minds anyway. And yeah, there's a big one in Texas. Before we get to the headlines that are shaping today, there's a huge election in Texas. It is James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett going head to head. Tallarico is fond of saying things like the closest thing to the kingdom of heaven is a multiracial, multicultural democracy. Mm. That's a statement. That's clearly a choice to say. Politics, right? Politics, they don't everything goes with politics, huh? They don't care. But the Texas battle royale of a Democratic Senate primary feels far from heaven, of course. Tallarico, a white state representative, is facing off with Representative Jasmine Crockett, who is black, of course, very popular too. It's a contest that's turned increasingly bitter, and of course, it has ignited a fierce intra-party debate with lots and lots of racial overtones about what type of candidate Democrats need to nominate to win in tough places as they look to rebuild the racially diverse coalition that Trump shattered with his victory. Um, and you knew race was going to rear its head. It's it's just it always does. So they can, Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. It was going to happen. And that's what's happening here. But the one thing about Jasmine Crockett, she seems to be always above that fray. And she's going to be herself regardless. So we're gonna see. Today is the day, right? That everybody's been looking forward to in Texas, and really just to see where this is going. Because remember, this is the primary, and so it's going to get uglier when the winner faces, and if it's Jasmine, when she faces a Republican. And yeah, I agree with you. RNG says, keep it real. A lot of white liberals don't want Jasmine to win. Yeah, there's always going to be that, right? In that situation, and I would imagine even some people who look like her don't want her to win, and that's unfortunate. Especially given what's been going on. But that is politics for you, right? That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. But we'll see. All eyes on Texas. Everything big happens in Texas. Switching gears now. And I tell you what, Dawn Staley has never been just a coach. She's never been just an athlete. Um, she has really been a warrior for her team, her schools, her people. And um, I have to interject for a second because Orange is saying that even Roland Martin has been throwing shade at Jasmine. I am surprised to hear that. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I wonder what's going on with Roland and Jasmine. Wow. Orangey, you got any inside scoop you want to share? Anybody else? Please do. I haven't caught that. I haven't seen Roland lately. So that's kind of wild. Hmm. It's kind of wild. Of all people, something had to have gone south there. Speaking of South, again, South Carolina women's basketball coach Dawn Staley is hoping to get three former South Carolina Gamecocks back from Israel as this situation in the Middle East escalates. And she has been talking to a lot of high level folks, and she's trying to work as diligently and safely as possible to get Destiny Littleton, not Little John Littleton, Micaiah Herbert Harrigan, and Tiffany Mitchell back home. They all are currently in a war zone while playing overseas in Israel, which has been, of course, the target of attacks from Iranian forces. In her initial post, Dawn Staley said a plan was in the works to get the three former players home to the United States safely. She said that in her press conference Sunday after South Carolina beat Kentucky in Lexington. She says, no updates, everything's still the same, but we are getting some help from people who are in decision making positions. But there's nothing you can do. You can still hear things that are going off, the sirens and everything that goes on in a war zone city. And this is Littleton. She's in Jerusalem, and she's been sharing some updates on social media where she can. And early yesterday, she posted that today's focus is to see what options we have getting out of the Middle East safely. And I hope one can arise and can be carried out soon. As for Mitchell, she played for the WNBA's Seattle Storm last year. And as for Herbert Harrigan, she played in the WNBA in 2024. And we know we've heard about the Brittany Griner. Remember that well. Professional women's basketball players often play overseas in other leagues during the off season to supplement their income. Miss Littleton said in a interview on Sunday um, that she was she'd been in contact with folks in the states who are doing everything they can to get them home safely. So we certainly want those women to get back safely. This is, I'm sure, a real um, horrifying situation for them. And so getting them back is certainly something that's it's at the forefront of Dawn Staley's mind and their families and many others. Um, and the latest on the conflict, as we see, uh, and you hear the trauma, unreal. This is and this is what they are going through. The trauma is so pronounced, as you can imagine. 778 people at least have now reported to have been casualties so far. An Israeli army also intensified their air attacks on Lebanon. This war has now spread to 12 countries. Saudi Arabia authorities say two drones hit the U.S. embassy there in its capital. And as Al Jazeera noted, Benjamin Netanyahu, of course, defended the decision to attack Iran alongside the U.S. He has characterized the conflict as a quick and decisive action, not an endless process. But of course, this can be very prolonged. Even Donald Trump is now saying that this could last more than a month. Historically, prolonged conflicts tend to face diminishing political support in America. While Trump may express confidence to maintain morale and backing, sustaining this long-term military operation, it's depends on a lot of practical realities. Money, of course, manufacturing capacity, and public support. The U.S. has maintained strong military and strategic ties, of course, with Israel. However, there's been a debate in Washington over whether the U.S. should automatically back military actions. And of course, lest we forget that the U.S. continues to provide weapons to other countries, including Ukraine, which is still engaged in war with Russia. Of course, we know that they've unleashed troops on American citizens and cities. So, how strained is the military? That becomes a question. We saw the service members having to eject. One frightening. I found it to be very frightening. Although the pilot ejected safely over Kuwait, she's confronted. It's a female pilot confronted by we don't know if it's just a Kuwaiti citizen or a military person who's telling her, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? You're safe. You're safe." And she smiles, and that's the end of the video. Um, and for her and her family's sake, you hope that that person really was a friend. But it seems so scary. And so the war wages on this war that came because listen, there's only one reason that that makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. It's the Epstein files. It's the only thing that makes any sense. So as the war continues, we'll see. Hillary Clinton was testifying, and she got lit into Lauren Boebert about recording and posting stuff about the hearings while the hearings were going on. It's all such a sideshow to them. Anything to disrupt, distract from their Jim Jones, Donald Trump. Anything. This Orange says you can't bomb your way into victory, and the leadership of our military is the Timu version of leaders. Mm. And that's the other problem, right? The fact that this is the most inexperienced administration ever, and that even includes the Pentagon. The first order of business was to fire a five-star general just simply because he was black. That was the first order of business in this administration. This is a man, the president, who's on record a number of times. We can go back to 2011, 2012, and he claiming that Obama's poll numbers were bad and that he's going to attack Iran. Was that very prophetic on his part? Was that the pot calling the kettle? Um, and of course, he says he's also on record in more recent times, saying that of course, he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. He would never lead American troops into war unnecessarily. This guy has, what is it, 8 countries now he's sent US missions into. And now this war, which is uh huge. 12 countries are now, at least 12 countries are now involved in this war. Russia standing at the ready, which means North Korea is standing at the ready, which means China is standing at the ready. And folks are saying, well, yeah, this is going to compromise things with in Ukraine. Did you ever think that this president cared, this administration cared anything about Ukraine? Was that ever a thought? Were you ever fooled by that? They have their mission, their goal. It has nothing to do with Ukraine or the survival of Ukraine. Epstein, boom, war. Every time something comes up that appears to be new with the Jeffrey Epstein files and situation, there's a major distraction. Major distraction. And this is more than just a distraction. You can't even call this a distraction. This is this is a this is it's crazy. It's outright crazy to attack a country. They were talking. And we still all these years, it seems like every single US president has had issues with Iran as far as the nuclear capabilities. And yet we've never seen, if they had it, see, I want to say this, if they had nuclear weapons, wouldn't they unleash them right now? It's the same Bush Iraq situation, right? Never found a trace of nuclear weapons. Never. It's that long running dispute or long running claim, false claim, apparently false, about these nuclear weapons. And here's the thing, guess who has nuclear weapons? What's good for the goose, right? You got to be concerned, of course, about national security. But the idea that this sovereign nation who, yeah, it's no question they hate the US. You think that this is going to help them not hate the US? But they have not shown any aggression. If I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, the last aggression shown against the US was way back in 1979 from Iran. And that was simply, well, I won't say simply, but that was going into the US embassy and seizing, 50 some odd hostages. And you remember, and I think Muhammad Ali had something to do with this too at the time. Remember, they immediately released like 13 hostages, all who were black, and they kept the other ones until Reagan got into office on January 20th, 1981. It's a mess, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, unfortunately. Hey, we're going to flip the script a little bit, and check check out this, because Black Americans are more likely than other racial and ethnic groups in the U.S. to rely on extended relatives and even non-relatives for emotional and financial support. They reflect long-standing kinship networks that continue to shape Black family life, according to the Pew Research Center, and a brand new report that is titled "For Many Black Americans, Family Extends Beyond Birth and Legal Ties." We reported about it. Check out blackpressmediausa.com. It found that Black families often maintain close ties through regular gatherings and reunions that reinforce a sense of connection and shared caregiving responsibilities. These networks frequently include this fictive kin, play cousins, close family, friends, neighbors, play cousins. Y'all know about play cousins. You're my cousin, but you're not really my cousin. But this is all in the report, though. The researchers traced these family structures to African kinship systems in which relatives lived in tightly connected communities. Those systems adapted during the transatlantic slave trade when enslaved Black people forged new bonds after being separated from their birth families. And see that? There you go. Thus, the play cousins. The networks persisted through emancipation and Jim Crow and the ongoing economic inequality that we continue to see. And it remains central to Black family life today. There are about 13.5 million U.S. family households that include at least one Black family member. It's about 40 million people, according to Pew, according to their data. The survey results from more than 4,000 adults say that Black adults are more likely than other adults to report feeling extremely or very close to grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. About 34% said they would turn to a grandparent for emotional support, which is a rate higher than any other racial or ethnic group. About 73% of Black adults said they feel close or extremely close to a non-relative they consider family. These play relatives, if you will, are most often longtime acquaintances. 95% of them are close friends. 95%, or people who offered meaningful support during difficult times. Researchers say about 92%. Many also share religious beliefs or grew up in the same neighborhood. In fact, 55% of them grew up in the same neighborhood. Among Black Hispanic adults, now they go into the Hispanics, right? That neighborhood connection rises to 65%. But Black American adults were also more likely than other Americans to both give and receive financial help from family. Got $10 I can borrow. 59% said they provided money or assistance to parents or relatives in the year before the survey, compared with 42% of other Americans. So we're not that stingy, y'all. We kind of good time Charlie here. About 6 in 10 Black adults provided money to family members in 2024. The rate was even higher for Black immigrants at 71%. Education and income also played a role. 68% of Black college graduates gave financial support. 63% of those with some college education, 49% of those with a high school diploma or less, and also higher income Black adults were most likely to give, though lower income adults often sacrifice the most. Our struggle is your struggle. Among Black adults with lower incomes who provided help, 25% said it had a significant negative impact on their own financial situation. And that's compared with just 12% of other Americans. So that's a very interesting and comprehensive report. Yeah, Orangey, you have to love your Black family. You might get cussed out, but we will deliver at the last minute. And how true, how true that is. And with all that being said, I want to check out, go to top tips and check this out. The best cities for Black Americans. Let's check it out.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Top Tips. In today's video, we'll be talking about the best cities to raise a Black family. When I put together these cities, I thought about a lot of things besides how many Black people there are. No disrespect to Atlanta, Charlotte, and DC, but if we're talking about raising a Black family, These places are not only way too expensive, but they also got crime problems and other issues. In each city I've listed, blacks make up at least 10% of the population, which is close to the same percentage in the US. If you're raising children, as a parent, you want the city you live in to have good schools. It's also very important that it has low cost of living, job opportunities, and a low crime rate. It took a lot of digging to find a city like that. It's sad to say that a lot of the affordable places aren't that safe, and a lot of the safe places are expensive. But some cities manage to find a balance of safety, affordability, and good schools. No one place I picked is perfect, but any of these places would be a great place to raise a black family. So with all of that said, here are the top cities for black families. Number 10. Farmington, Michigan. If you're like my wife and hate the cold, you should probably skip this one. But beyond that, Farmington's not a bad place. It's a part of the Detroit metro area, which I get Detroit's had a bad rap, but it has improved in recent years. It's just a 30-minute drive to downtown Detroit. If you're more of a nature person, Farmington has a few nature parks in the area too. While cost of living is about on par with the US average, the unemployment rate and median home value are below the US average. That means there's a good amount of job opportunities and affordable homes. Crime is also extremely low, and the most recent data I found showed that the schools had an average test score that's 21% higher than the national average. So definitely check this place out if you're looking to head north. Number 9. Hoover, Alabama. Just a few miles outside of Birmingham is the growing suburb of Hoover, Alabama. It's known for having a lot of golf courses. It also has a beautiful large mall called the River Chase Galleria. The town is pretty big on nature, with waterfalls, gardens, and lake parks. Housing prices are a bit high, but the cost of living is about 9% less than the US average. There's not much unemployment either. If you work in education or healthcare, you probably won't have too hard of a time finding a job. The crime in the area is also 25% less than the national average, and the average test score of the schools was 21% above the national average. With 19% of the population being black, you won't be alone in this city. Number 8. Tavares, Florida. With Disney World and Universal Studios not too far, your kids will probably want to move here tomorrow. Tavares, Florida is a city that's about an hour north of Orlando. It's probably one of the smallest towns on this list, which I know usually means there aren't a lot of black people, but rest assured, 13% of the population is black. A lot of retirees also live in the area, so it's a good place to stick around once all the kids are grown up. If you like fishing, then this is definitely the place for you, because the town is basically surrounded by lakes. You and your family can enjoy all the water activities you want. Tavares is probably one of the most affordable places on this list, with cost of living, unemployment, and median home value all well below the national average. Crime is also 29% below the national average, and average test scores are 6% above the national average. Number 7. Malden, South Carolina. I've been to Malden a good number of times, and all in all, it's a pretty nice quiet town. There's hardly any stories of crime in the area compared to other nearby towns. Crime is about 26% less than the national average. The city is a few minutes from downtown Greenville, which has been previously recognized as one of the top downtowns in the country. Malden is slowly building up its own downtown, so you can expect there will be more to do in the area in the coming years. The schools are pretty good, with average test scores being 26% higher than the national average. Cost of living, median home value, and unemployment are all slightly below the national average as well. Black population in Malden is about 23%. Number 6. Madison, Alabama. Never imagined I'd put a city in Alabama on this list twice. Madison, Alabama is a city near the northern border of the state. It's not far from Huntsville, which has the space station, so a good place to be if your kid dreams of being an astronaut. More tech jobs have been coming to Madison, making it a great area to live if you're interested in the tech industry. Madison also has some of the best schools in the country, with test scores averaging 42% higher than the national average. Houses and cost of living are a little bit pricier than other cities on this list. A decent house will probably cost you around $200 to $300,000. But crime is 45% less than the national average, and unemployment is 25% less. Number 5. Hernando, Mississippi. Mississippi isn't a state that most people think of moving to, but Hernando, Mississippi is one of the few cities that might make you reconsider. It's a city in the northern border of the state, not far from Memphis, Tennessee. The cities are so close, it's actually where many residents commute to work, which probably explains why Hernando's unemployment rate is 42% less than the national average. One resident described Hernando as one of those cities you don't have to worry much about letting your kids play outside without much supervision. Kind of takes you back to the days where you'd be out until the street lights came back on. The city is one of the safest ones on this list, with the crime rate 54% less than the national average. The schools are good too, with test scores being 16% higher than the national average. While there isn't a whole lot to do in the town, you can always take a short drive to Memphis for more activities. Number 4. Pearland, Texas. Just 30 minutes southeast of Houston is Pearland. One of the reasons I put this town so high up is because it had the best test scores of all the cities on this list. The test scores of Pearland were 73% higher than the national average. 91% of students graduate high school, which is 10% above the U.S. average. Basically, your kid has a pretty good chance of doing well here. The city is great for families that are more outdoorsy. It has a park, a lake, and many walking trails. While median home prices and cost of living were slightly above average, unemployment and crime rates were well below the U.S. average. Residents appreciate the diversity of the area and the family atmosphere. The percentage of blacks in Pearland is about 18%. Number 3. Holly Springs, North Carolina. Holly Springs, North Carolina is about 25 minutes outside of Raleigh. It's considered one of the safest cities in North Carolina with a crime rate 71% less than the national average. The schools are among the best, average test score is 64% higher than the national average. Residents view the area as a family-friendly place with numerous shopping areas and restaurants. It's seen as a growing town with more houses, stores, and other amenities being built in the town. About 11% of the population is black. The median home value and cost of living is higher than most cities on this list. But if you can afford it, this would be a great place to raise your family. Number 2. Collierville, Tennessee. Collierville, Tennessee is located 35 minutes outside of Memphis. For anyone that lives there, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this name right. Feel free to spell out the pronunciation in the comments. Anyway, Collierville has a lot to offer. Great schools, job opportunities, and more houses being built. There's also a town square where people play live music during the summer. Residents say it's far enough from Memphis to where it's separated from the crime issues there. The crime rate in Collierville is 37% below the national average. It'll cost you a good amount to own a home here. Most houses I've seen listed were around $300 to $400,000. Cost of living isn't that cheap either. Unfortunately, that's the cost of wanting to live in a good community sometimes. The average test scores for the schools in the area are 58% higher than the national average, and the black population makes up about 14% of the city. The people in the area are generally described as kind and welcoming. Before we get to the number 1 city, here are some of the runner-up cities that didn't make the top 10. And number 1, Pflugerville, Texas. Pflugerville, Texas is a city that's just 30 minutes outside of Austin. It's named after a German immigrant, Henry Pfluger, who left his home to flee the Prussian War in 1849. Living here allows you to avoid all the busy traffic closer to the downtown Austin area. A lot of Austin black residents have migrated here due to the rising cost of living in Austin. About 16% of the population in Pflugerville is black. The city also boasts a crime rate that's 45% less than the national average and an unemployment rate that's 29% less than the national average. More schools, shopping areas, and houses are being built because so many people are moving there. I think black families would be lucky to be able to call Pflugerville home. I hope you enjoyed this list. Feel free to let me know which city you like the most, or any suggestions of other cities you think would be a good place to raise a black family.
All right. And there you have it, the 10 best cities for black families according to top tips. That is, it's really, really, cool, particularly following, the story about black families. And speaking of, black folks, we have an alert. Breaking news. Our alert this morning is, just learning, that this August, yes, this coming August, in Phoenix, Arizona, a special event is taking place, in Phoenix, Arizona, the Arizona Black Entrepreneur Week. It's of course, Phoenix is America's fifth largest city, and they're going to host it. It is presented by Archwood Community Resource Empowerment Strategy. It'll take place August 2nd to the 8th. It's the first time that they will gather like this in Arizona. It is designed to cultivate economic empowerment, as they say, among uh, Black entrepreneurs. And so they want you to get down to Arizona. It should be a lot of things going on. They're going to have ceremonies, speaker series, mixers, chance to meet and greet various different entrepreneurs, hook up, maybe find some business partners or people who are people who look like you, willing to do business with you. They are bringing together creatives, investors, professionals, community leaders, and change makers. So a lot's going to go on that week. Go to archwoodexchange.com to find out more about this. That is happening. You got time now to go to archwoodexchange.com to check it out. It's happening in Phoenix, Arizona. Nice city, real nice city. Lots to do there, um, and lots to enjoy. So check that out, and maybe we'll be there. 'Cause it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities are going to be available. Now let's see what our girl Shawnee B has this morning.
To Shawnee's wife, it's your girl, Shawnee B. And if you're cool, you got to cool, yeah.
Disclaimer. Sometimes it be your own damn kids that have you out here just set up. But you have to make sure you double back and check your babies, because they'll have you looking like you just don't know how to run a household. Now, what you talking about, Shawnee B? I got you. Now, there was this story that had leaked out. It wasn't leaked out. It actually is the story. And allegedly, in Atlanta, Georgia, Atlantaga, that's where they say, board. Shout out to drama. The South Fulton Police Department, they are specifically reminding families, parents specifically, to check your children's backpacks in their lunch boxes. Okay? Now, there was a child that reportedly brought a lunch to school. Is that bad? Absolutely not. What was bad was what was in it. Okay? Allegedly, the baby had a bag of Doritos. Check. Looked like a sandwich. Check. Looked like something. It might be some fruit or some type of pickles. And the baby had a drink in there. Now, you're probably like, well, Shawnee B, where does it go left at? The drink was a Cutwater lemon martini. Oh, my God. Say what, say what, say what. You know that you're about it, baby. The baby carried a lemon drop martini from Cutwater to school. Woo! Man, these kids will have you looking like you just don't know how to parent. You probably was just tired, said, baby, pack your lunch. And they probably just about to look at the cans like, ooh, lemonade. They was about to go to lemon heaven. Hello? Because a Cutwater is about 13 to 14% alcohol. Cutwater got y'all acting the fool as adults. So I would have hate for that baby to open up their can and say, juice. Baby would have been crawling up the walls like Spider-Man with no web. Well, anyway, the baby should just only be familiar with Capri Suns, Kool-Aid bursts, and any other fruit drink that they could slice in their backpack that fits in their lunchbox. That's it. Like I said, kids go through your stuff. I don't know what type of household this kid did it from. I'm not even placing 100% blame, because I know kids just go through stuff and they don't read. They just look at pictures and like, oh, I treat. So you definitely have to make sure you separate your adult stuff from the children's stuff. And two, check your children's contents before they leave. Because if the po see it, CPS is going to get in your business. Okay. Now, I don't know what happens next for the parent and the student, because again, you can't have alcohol on the premises. Okay. The end of the day, there probably gonna be more cases of this because these products do look refreshing. And kids not reading labels say don't do it. They just looking at the colors. They're just looking at it. And so again, these children are so advanced these days. How do we know the child didn't do it on purpose? Hello? But either or, it just all falls back on the parent or the guardian. So we do gotta tighten up. You know what I'm saying? Make sure the things that we have fun with aren't in the hands or near in the places of the hands where those babies could reach. Because you just don't want them investigating you when it wasn't you that actually physically put it in there. Your baby did. So again, these children have you in all types of problems, but make sure to prevent being a problem. You make sure you store your stuff privately somewhere else so they don't have access to it. Because my point now is, if they actually put this in a lunchbox, have they actually drank some that you've had out and about and you didn't know? Because them cold water is strong as shit. We don't need no early age alcoholics. So y'all, everybody across the board, tighten up. Tighten up. And if y'all investigate that family and there's no backstories of abuse, neglect, or anything, let them slide. It was just a simple mistake. Now, they got a history of just being, then you might have to call 911. That baby packed that lunch good as hell. Said, I'm going to give me the lemonade and get your ring out. Hey, baby, you almost got these people locked up. I can even see them now. Hey, mine, why you carry that, mine? Check your baby's everything, because your baby's how you looking crazy out here. But I'm just a messenger. It's your girl, Shiny B. If you're cool with your girl, down fool with your girl, make sure you check out my website. Yes, www.shinybeentertainment.com. Check out the fan gear options to drop donations, but never any pressure to do either of the two, because I see the likes, the shares, the comments means the world to me. So I just want to tell you thank you from my lips to your ears for rocking me. Y'all can be anywhere in the world, but y'all come back and keep me company. Hop in the comments. Again, these kids do the darnest, these kids say the darnest. So at this point in time, baby, just double check. That's the only thing you could ever do. Oh my gosh. Sometimes my son does stuff and I be like, thank God I double back to check him. Now, he's never put me in a position where alcohol was in his contents, but that made me doing some stuff sometimes. And then you be like, this doesn't look bad on you. It looks bad on me. Fix it. So these babies don't know no better. And if they do know better, then you don't want to be at the other end that they think you should do better. Good luck, parents. But I am just a messenger. So, next story.
Just the messenger. But you got to watch what your kids are doing. Especially those little ones, right? What they putting in their lunchbox could get you in trouble. So you don't want none of that. Again, we like to again thank the Bell Project. They are going to be with us for at least a few months, keeping families together. Join the Bell Project in building a justice system rooted in dignity and equality. They've supported about 40,000 clients through free bail assistance. They're fighting on Capitol Hill for a bail system that doesn't involve you having to be broke. They want cashless bail. Visit thebellproject.org and you'll be hearing more on Let It Be Known about the Bell Project among our other supporters. But the Bell Project right now is our principal sponsor for the original Let It Be Known, founded by yours truly. So continue to watch, continue to enjoy, and continue to like and share. And we will see you again tomorrow. So join us again as we.
What you know about